Here we are for another hackathon, hacker waka waka day. We are in Cisco HQ again, and you know, it doesn't matter where you go in this building. Doesn't matter where you go, what time of the bloody day you come in here. There's always somebody going blah 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 in the back somewhere. There's someone next to you going blah 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 blah, having a big old loud chat, and you can't hear yourself think. And there's people around you going blah 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 all day long. I don't know how anyone can work in an office permanently. I just don't know. It's like, yeah, there's collaboration, but man, a couple of days of this and you drive anyone off a cliff. We all need space to think. We need quiet rooms to think. Engineers don't work well on busy floors. It just doesn't work very well, in my opinion, my very humble opinion. All right, so where are we today and what did we do? This is day 5 of the hackathon, and we are very well deep into the build. We have a working functional terminal user interface, excuse me, and we have a search engine underneath. Now, I hadn't actually tested the search engine yesterday. We'd spent a good few hours designing it yesterday, and it was pretty robust. Very happy with it. And then we had Claude put all the code together, and we spent the majority of yesterday afternoon kind of tuning the UI, getting the majority of the coloring done, colorization, and then nudging and getting things, you know, looking right and clean for kind of an out of the box setup. So we've got the rendering in a good state. Now we need to get some of the core logic of the engine in place for the search. So what I actually did last night is I spent last night after the stream and after I got back to the hotel reviewing the code. I went through the code in depth, and I edited it a little bit, tuned a couple of little things, but mostly it was functional. Then we added the tests, and then we added an upgrade to the HARgen tool. So inside HARific there's a HAR generator, and that's so I could do testing on the UI, which you've seen over the last couple of days if you've been following along. If you haven't, no worries, go back and watch the videos and it will make sense. While I'm chit-chatting here, I am just going to go ahead and grab the live link and then publish that in my Discord and on Slack and on all the places. I'm sorry if you can hear, like, I don't know if you can hear that, man. It sounds like there's like 15 people sitting around me, like going blah 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 blah. Did they strip all the insulation out of the walls in here or something? I don't know. Pretty bad. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and get those links, and I'm going to send them over to a few places. So there we go. Yeah, it sounds like people are doing building or something in here. Are people doing building? Are people building? I haven't got any of my tools open. I don't have the chats open. I don't have the Discord or the Slacks open. I don't have anything open. Let's bring this together. We go into the hackathon channel and the general channels. Deary me, I don't have anything running today. I had some real problems. That's why I'm running a little late today. Some real problems with my audio this morning. Hackathon day 5. Hackathon day 5 is live. Take a look. Or we'll get the Twitch link as well. Twitch.tv. Twitch.tv. Where are you? Okay. It's live. Let me put that in Twitch as well. I mean, not the Twitch. We're on the Twitch. Oh, the Twitch is the twitchiness. I put it on the Discord. Okay. Put it on the Discord. And put it on Slack. Just so we go over here. There we go. Live now. Alright. We're live. Okay. Let's continue with what we were doing, because I was telling a story and I've got all the links out now. So yesterday we were doing the UI, and running through that HAR generator, and then wanted to start testing the search engine. Design is sound. Design is solid. It's the idea that we have a number of workers, and right now we're taking, by default, you can override this, but you take the number of cores in the CPU, and then we create that many workers. So basically, you've got a worker per core. On a machine like me, I've got 16 cores. That's 16 workers. That's 16 asynchronous searches we can do at one time, and they'll take a block of entries. So we'll effectively chunk it all up. We will then create a bunch of work items. We'll throw them onto a queue. One of those workers will grab from the queue, keep grabbing from the queue, and then it's also going to go and do a couple of other things as well. We've got file handlers, and we've got blocks of memory, about 64 KB blocks of memory. So what we're doing is we're grabbing both of these from pools. We've got a whole pool of file descriptors, and so we can open and close. And then we've got a whole bunch of memory. So now we don't need to keep allocating all these new ones all the time. We just keep reusing the same small pool of memory and the same small pool of file descriptors. And then we're actually doing seeking using those indices from from the index. So I think it's a pretty robust search engine, to be honest. And I really like the design that we put together. And I validated it last night. So built a bunch of tests. And then the question is well, how are you going to build HARific so we can run those tests and test the search engine more importantly. I'm going to test the search engine with real big HAR files and knowing that HAR file contains its searches. You've got two options. First option is that you store a bunch of HAR files with known elements in them, like query params, paths, bodies, requests, whatever. There's something in there you're looking for. You know it's in there, and you want to test the engine and find it. So you upload the file, or you store it in the repo. Even worse. You store it in the repo, and if for big files, this is basically like a half a gig test file. It's nuts. Yeah, you store it in the repo, or you store it in S3 or on the web somewhere, and you download it as part of a test, or it's already in the repo. Big problems, massive problems. You've got all that data there, doesn't need to be there. Why? And first of all, and every time you're downloading it, you are downloading them anyway. It's just a bad idea to have that. So what I did was I modified HARGen last night to actually generate HAR files with known entities in them, and we can then control where we put them. So we can say, I want you to put this known search entity into the request body, or in the header, or in a query param, or in a cookie, and you can control that with an enum. And then essentially you say, hey HARGen, generate this thing in memory for me. And when you run the test, you're actually running the test against a real generated massive file that's just been built, but it's also got those known consistent markers in there. So when you run a search, it's always going to find it, because and it will be placed slightly differently, but it's always going to be guaranteed to be there and in that position in a record somewhere. So actually what we're doing is running real tests against completely randomly generated gigantic files with random JSON blobs in there for requests and responses. So I really upgraded HARGen. In fact, it's a really cool tool on its own now. It will generate these files on demand and put these predetermined known markers so you can search for them and test the search engine actually operating correctly. It's the deterministic output now, which is just it's great. It means we could build these tests, and now we don't have to worry about checking in these massive HAR files. Golden. So the search is good. I'm happy with the search. It seems to be working very well. Now what we need to do is some housekeeping and clean up. I tried doing this a bit earlier, and I broke everything. So we're going to try and undid it, and then we'll try and do it again. We're going to try and clean up we've got these two work trees, and we've got a separate repo. So we've got a TUI work tree, which is all of our TUI work we did. And then we've got all the search stuff, which is all that kind of stuff. There's some breaking changes in between them. And now what we've got to do is we're going to have to bring them together, bring these two work trees together. So there's a couple of ways to do this. We kind of merge it all in locally, but I think what the easiest way to do is to simply just create a PR on GitHub and just bring in those different branches back into our main Braid repo and work that way. Just for simplicity's sake, I was mucking about with this earlier and I changed the name of the repo and all the work trees broke and everything got messed up. So I'm just going to play it safe for now and we can work on other types of merging strategies later. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's get cracking. I'm not sure if you can hear what's going on here, but it sounds like a marketplace in here. Good God, it's like every room is just full of people just having big raucous conversations about something very interesting and very important, obviously, clearly, but my goodness, they need to be so loud. Or maybe it's just me, I'm being sensitive. I don't know. All right, so where do we start? First of all, let's go take a look at Tower, and this is where all of our stuff has been. This is all these files I was mucking about with last night. Gee, so loud in here. Can you hear that? You might be coming over the microphone. It sounds like I think I'm gonna have to find somewhere else to work. I mean, in a meeting room. I'm literally in a meeting room, and it's so loud in here I can't hear myself think. Maybe I'll just go and sit outside in traffic. Maybe that will be a better idea. It's less noisy out there. Yeah, I'll probably have to move in 20 minutes or so. I can't work here. I'm sorry, people. I literally can't hear myself thinking here. I want to push through for a minute, try and get these MLs in, and then I think I might relocate. It's very loud. It's starting to stress me out. Although yesterday I had construction work going on in the meeting rooms. Right, I'll stop complaining. I'll just stop complaining now. But here's some stuff. Actually, this is the architecture that. What I was actually doing is I got Claude to build out some Mermaid.js architecture diagrams showing how that we've built out the search engine, and it's actually pretty interesting. Let's take a look at some of these. Let's just take a look at these actually before we kind of commit all the code. Mermaid. So we take the flow chart first. Here's a flow chart. Let's go to Chrome. And then we'll do Mermaid.js live editor. The thing is, it keeps bringing up this commercial version. And they keep doing the commercial version. I don't want any of this. I just want like the free one. Here we go. So this is what I put in last night. I've got this, so we can actually see. This is the architecture. So I'll walk through this very quickly, and we can take a look at some of the other models just so it's all very clear about how the search engine actually works. Here's our interface. This is where we engage with it at the top, and what we do, whatever that might be, in our TUI in particular, we start a search and we use a pattern, and the options can be like, do you want to search the body? Are you using first result, return the first result only, like quick search, or continue to do a deep search and look for everything, or do you want to get all the results, so if it appears multiple times? So we've got different options on how we can kind of compose the search and exit out quickly or go deeper and go fully into the body, and that then creates this HARific. And what the HARific does is it creates those batches of work, which is what I described earlier, those batches of work, and that goes into an array. And then we feed all of those batches of work into a work queue. And we have those worker jobs, those worker pools, as I mentioned earlier. And what they're doing is they just go in there and they take a work batch and they go ahead, and which is basically just a collection of indices, and they grab down. See these two green boxes down? Well, I'm not sure if you can see the green on the stream or not, but colors are horrible. but they grab buffer from the memory pool. They grab 64 KB chunk of it, and they also grab the file handle as well. So you see we've got this entry reader over here. What that's doing is it's actually reading those entries using file seeking, right? And not using like straight up the JSON unmarshalling, because we bring the whole thing out, but it's just looking at those individual pieces. And what it's doing is it's using a combination of memory buffers and file handlers from these pools to do the seeking and the reading on disk. And that means that we can keep memory super low. I mean, I'm talking super low, and go really quickly without kind of blowing up our heap, and without worrying about putting all this pressure on the garbage collector. So what happens is this little machine clunks away, grabbing from the buffer pool, putting it back, grabbing a file handle, doing the reading and seeking, putting it back, searching through everything. Every worker operating in its own core of the CPU. So we're going as fast as we can, really. And then they all feed that back into result channel, which streams back up to the TUI. So then the TUI can then stream the results and show them in real time, which we'll come to later on today, hopefully, if we get all this wired up properly. And then, or you can just wait for it to be ready. So that's the part we'll hopefully get to by the end of the day. That's my goal, is that we've got a cert, like we're in the TUI, and we hit S, bring up a little, like, I was thinking about this earlier, where I wanted to go. So I was thinking about where we got the split panel. Bring up the split panel, and like a smaller, thinner one, but it'll be a search panel, and you have a search text input, and then you'll be able to have some tick boxes or equivalent of, I'm not sure how we're going to render it in Bubble Tea, that says use a regex. So it will switch to a regex query, and what's going on here? More LinkedIn nonsense. Well, I've got to turn those LinkedIn notifications off. Random people doing their sales keep distracting me while I'm trying to talk to you. Sales pitches for AI everywhere. AI. Anyway, I was back with the TUI. I was thinking about how we're going to render out the, this part, the search pattern input. We've got to define the pattern and the options. Options are, as I mentioned, it's mostly tick boxes. So they're Boolean switches in the configuration, so we can turn them on and off using these options. So we'll get there a little later today. That's my goal. The goal for this morning is to bring together the TUI and the search effectively dissolve the work trees and bring it back into one main project, because the vast bulk of the application is now in place in terms of rendering. Tomorrow we'll start to look at putting the server together, and that's the last piece of the puzzle. If we get there, remember I reduced the scope to just reading and searching, but we're making good progress here, and it's pretty robust in terms of its design. The coverage is pretty good so far on the search engine and the HAR streamer, which is really the value of this tool. The terminal experience on top is nice and fun, but we could really turn this into an API if you wanted to. Like, it could be like a true API, and it will give you fast searching and reading. I'm not sure there's a lot of value in that right now. I think that the self-contained application is what we want. That's where we actually get the value from. So hopefully that makes sense. We've got our search engine. In fact, I didn't write any of the results down, I don't think. Let's go back and see if any of the results got benchmarks. Oh, we did get some benchmarks here. Okay, you know what? I'm going to come over to the search code. Let's go to the search code. So you might still see the name Braid in places. The reason why that is because that's the name of the root repo that it was called Braid. Obviously, we created these HARific different work trees. But if you rename the root, just rename the root folder, all the work trees break, and I broke everything earlier. So anyway, it's back now, but proper broke it all. That's why Braid is still here. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring up these benchmarks. And let's zoom in a little bit on these. Looks like I can't zoom in on the render. Can't zoom in on the render. Okay, that's no good. Why? Come on. Come on. Come on. I'll fix some of these. I'll fix some of these, so... Oh, this is annoying. Reformat table. There you go. Let's just reformat these two. The table is not correctly formatted. Yeah, I know. Can you fix it for me? Thank you, so we can see what on earth is going on. Get rid of that. No help. So, some of the search results. This is how quickly it runs. Using generated HARs at various sizes with known search markers in there. Plain text on a small HAR file, and we're looking at, it's almost instant. The small and the medium. Let's fix that. Come on. Worker parallelism. Memory allocators. Yeah, this is how much we're allocating, but it's not actually being consumed by the heap. Still saying JSON decoding dominates 62 allocations from the JSON parser. Unavoidable with the current architecture. Maybe we could upgrade Sonic, but we already looked at that later. Maybe not. We'll worry about it. I think we're pretty good right now. Anyway, when I saw that we weren't using any more than about 50 megabytes memory when doing the profiling. The heap never gets above 50 megabytes. Yeah. Maybe on the search we could get some speed up. Maybe. We'll see how it goes, okay? If the search engine is slow, then we can look at optimizing it. But right now, it's running super fast search with very low, very, very low memory use. The pressure is low on the garbage collector as well. So, we're just going to see how it goes. So the first goal is make sure that we come back, we go back to tower. There's nothing in here that I want to, there's nothing to put up here. So in the HARific search, let's just make sure we also, use our work trees. Do we have anything to be tested in TUI? No, there's nothing in there. So what we can do, in effect, is if we go back to Chrome, GitHub. Let's go to GitHub and then we'll come into HARific. There's our logo. Love it. Love it. Love it. Really hate this headset. I hate it. I want my home sound back. I don't like this remote. Excuse me for slurping on the camera. Oh, I forgot. Oh, let me. All right, so we got a couple of branches in here. Search in TUI. Let's bring in the TUI first. Bring in the TUI first. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. TUI. Yeah, TUI. Let's create a pull request. TUI is in a working state. Lots of work still needed. However, we are able to move. Looks okay. Could be a lot better. All right. Let's go ahead and... No, I don't want to do merge pool. I am a rebase person. Let's go rebase. Rebase. Don't leave much here. Just because. Just because. Alright, let's do another one. In fact, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to bring this in as... We should be able to bring it in as is. But although we did make a breaking change to the signature, there shouldn't be any merge conflicts, but we should see a broken build. We should. Yes. Lots of code. Lots and lots. Lots and lots. Who is buzzing me? What is buzzing? Oh, it's me. It's me. It's me buzzing me. It's my... I'm distracting myself, my MR myself, a whole chain of them. I looked at all this last night. This is all good. This is all good. This is all good. We're using a combination of file handlers and 64 KB chunks of memory. It is good. The design is good. It's sound. Well happy with it. Great PR. HARsearch. Now. Now ready for integration with the main TUI. Let's wire it all up. This meeting is being recorded and summarized because we have the volume turned up to 500. God, it's so loud. So loud. Let's see, there should be no merge conflict. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there, sunshine. It's a lot of code. We got a lot of code. It's a lot of code. That's a lot of code. A lot of code for a hackathon. Excuse me. I am going to stop. I'm going to stop with the drinking because normally I can. It's not picked up. At least I don't think it's being picked up by the microphone. Sorry, it must be really awful. Okay. Couple of sips of coffee and we're ready. 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 Ready, steady, let's getty eddy. Ready, jetty. Be base. I want to do this. The code is going to blow up. A little bit. A little bit. Come back to tower. And what we should do is come back to, I had to call it braid. So all these errors in here now. HARific. Where's my braid? Where'd you go? Let's come in here. There's our work tree. To remain, I'm going to pull. Okay. Okay. We have a combined search engine and TUI, and probably a big honking pile of broken ass code. Let's go and find out, shall we? Let's go and find out. All right, do it here. Find the right terminal. The right terminal. There we go. This is the one. HARific. All right, let's fire up my old mate, Claudio. Claude. All right, Claude. All right, Claude. Let's do this. HARific. Let's resume 3 days ago. 1 day ago. Let's see what this one was. No, that's not right, is it? It's HARGen. Oh, no, that was an old one. You know what? I think we need to go back and zoom. 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 18 seconds ago. Oh, I don't know. No, we've lost all of our context. Let's just start again with fresh. Start fresh. Okay. Okay, Claude, we are working on HARific today. What we have is we have a TUI that is working. We have a search engine that is working. We have a file reader called HARstreamer that is working. Essentially, everything was working individually. Now, what we've done is we've just merged a couple of branches together. You know, actually, instead of getting the machine to do it, let's just go in and take a look at it ourselves. We're gonna have to sit here for 20 minutes while we let it read and 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 read. And this is like, it's one of those. This is generally one of those times where it's probably easier to just go and look at the code ourselves. Right, I'm gonna jump over here. Let's just do it that way. Into break. All right, we got everything we need right here. Claude, HARGen, our motor. We have the TUI. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring up the terminal in here. I'll zoom in a bit. Come on, these built-in terminals are horrible. Okay, we can come out of this directory. Let's just go build. Let's just do it. Braid. Go. Now, you know what I'm going to do first actually is mv braid. Go and move it to HARific. Go. There we go. Ah, when? Oh, we already did it. Oh, we already did it. We did it yesterday. Why did it build? Maybe it's because we're not using the search engine. Let's have a look. We got any files in here? No. CD HARGen. There we go. Build HARGen. We'll go. Was working. Let's take a look. files when we're building HARGen. Oh. How is it? What do we do? Yeah, so we go. We've got a special, so all the files when we do this. So I'm just trying to think back in time and how we do builds with multiple code files, because usually you point at the root and it will pull them all in, but in this case, we need to put in more, I guess. HARGen 147. Let's just take a look at this. 147 dictionary. It's right there because it's in dictionary, but we need to pull those files in as well when we go and build. Go build. Right. Whoops, what did I just do there? HARGen. And then we pull in dictionary.go, entry processor.go, and JSON. Too many errors. Entity generator. We need to get up set up. 29. Bugger. All right. Okay. This is where we can use Claude for. This is actually where we can ask Claude to step in and give us a hand here. Because I don't want to go through and have to worry about this. Was all set up. I deleted all the sessions and restored everything, and I was working on this late last night before I went to bed. Anyway, what we need to do is get HARGen building, but it's not set up to build as a separate tool right now. It's been built as part of tests. I need some test files. I need HARGen working. Whoops, almost made the same mistake. Hey Claude, we are working on HARific and we're trying to bring together a bunch of code today. The first challenge that we have is in the, is it motor? Let me see where it is. No, it's in the HARGen module. Have is HARGen, which is in the HARGen module. And HARGen is code for generating HAR files of various sizes, both as standalone files and as to be used as part of tests, where we can then also inject constants for searches into known areas as part of that generation. So randomly generate JSON and all kinds of stuff and put in keys and values of our stuff. It's a very great, sophisticated tool. It's currently working for tests. However, we're kind of in a situation where we've brought two different branches together and we haven't set things up in the greatest of ways. That's why I'm helping you. Can help me clean this up before we move forward. What I need you to do, Claude, is go and read all the code in HARGen and fully understand exactly what it's doing. Then I need you to go and look at a few tests that are using HARGen and determine how it's being used. I believe it's currently just being used as in memory. But before we made these changes and we added the search engine, HARGen operated as a little standalone tool that we could compile. You know, it was a single file. But now, as you know, it's more sophisticated and there's more dependencies. So what I need you to do is, once you've read all the code and you understand how HARGen works and you see how it's being wired up in tests, let me know, and then we can tackle the next piece together of what I want you to actually do. Let's go, Claude. Let's go. So, I always like to set up the context for any of these new sessions. We go take a look at the code and understand it. So you understand it, it's all in there. When I say understand it, I don't mean understand it. Obviously, you can't understand it. But at least all of that stuff is, all the bits and pieces are loaded into the context. So it's much easier for it to jump around and find things when it's trying to figure things out and do debugging. But we've got to go through this phase first where it's pulling this stuff in. And as the session goes on, this early work starts to decay. So we've got to remember of that, you know, when we're kind of an hour or two into a session with the AI, this early context starts to be forgotten. because it's just so much in the session at that point. Still doing it. I do need to find a proper mute button. This is where we're now waiting. I just compile, and it compiles and builds, but in order for me to run it, let's get HARGen up and running. So it's the first step. Bring HARGen back to being an individual tool. That also is powering the tests for this runtime stuff. I'm going to have to jump to a quick meeting in 12 minutes, unfortunately. 12 minutes. Unfortunately, today's stream is probably going to be a bit broken up into a few different pieces because I've got some meetings. Normally, all my streaming would have been completely finished by the time I start Cisco work, but streaming is Cisco work this week, so I'm going to have to try and just figure it out and move between meetings and interruptions. All right, so let's just see what Claude has said. HARGen is a sophisticated HAR file generation system with 4 main components. We've got HARGen, we've got the entity generator. This is all the new stuff I was working on last night. We've got JSON generator and the entity generator and dictionary. Function's name kload. Oh, that was me. That was me. Dictionary. That was me. That was me being an idiot. Right, thank you, Claude. Loads work. Basically, the way it works is when it generates random stuff, I ask it to look in the dictionary file. Obviously, this doesn't work on Windows, and some machines it will fail on, but it doesn't really matter right now. We'll come back to that. But anyway, the whole point is you load a dictionary. I've used this technique before. We're doing mocking in LibOpen API. You can load in your own custom dictionary, so you don't have to worry about using system-generated stuff. If you want it, you want control over it, that is. But yeah, this is basically a little tool now. It's a sub-tool inside the tool. And this is where we're using it in tests. This is what I was talking about. We inject these terms, and that gives us known, dedicated, consistent, repeatable, reliable ways to test that the search engine is actually doing what it's supposed to do, and it's finding things in the way it's supposed to be. This deterministic testing with random file generation is really important. It's like we're generating 90% of the content randomly, but we need to keep these key pieces put in there. But they have to be random as well, but they have to exist in order to validate. I was pretty happy with that design. I've not actually built something like that before. And the design seems simple, and it took a little while, but yeah, it works. It does work. It works pretty well. "10-minute countdown. Critical bug." Okay, I fixed that bug because it was right. That typo was me. I pressed a key and made a mistake. So I've undone that. Now that you understand how HAR works, what I want you to do is build me a little make file that allows me to compile. Hang on, I didn't mean HARGen. You know what? I'm going to collapse HAR into HARific, simply because I don't want 2 libraries dealing with HAR files. I just want one app for HARs. It comes with tools, it comes with a library, and it comes with a little TUI. I want everything HAR in HARific, and HAR can be retired. It's just structs anyway. Now that you understand how HARific works, what I want you to do is build me a little make file that allows me to compile. A little make file. HARific, and run it as a subtool, so it has its own sub-binary. Right now, there's a load of dependencies, and you have to pass in a bunch of additional Go files, and then it's all a bit much. Can you build me a make file so I can just do make, and then I'll have a what's it called? Hargen. Just run make, and then I'll end up with a HARific. Hargen binary. Not HARific. Just there we go. Just type it out. Use the fingers the old-fashioned way. All right, let's see how you get on with that so we can fix that. There is no existing make file. There's no existing make file in this project. If you don't know what make is, first of all, go and look it up. But make is a Unix tool. I believe it's GNU. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I could be completely wrong. Probably am. But it's a tool that essentially is like a, it's the original builder. It's Gulp or Grunt, if you remember those bad boys from the old Dark Ages. First there was Grunt, and then came Gulp, and then Webpack and Beat. They all kind of took over. But it's basically just a build system, but it's built in. It's free. It's like you don't have to install anything. You just build a make file and tell it what to make and how to make it, and it makes it, builds it all for you, which is just what you want. It's like a little automation harness. Yes, allow all of it. Oh, weird. That's right. All right. So Hargen has moved from being a main, having a main method to having no main method. And now we need to go rapid in one, and then capture a couple of flags. That's what we did. That's what we had before. Think about Hargen. It had a main method, and it had the flags in there. When I was doing that work last night, I must have undone it, and I wasn't paying attention. I didn't do a code review. Yes. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? It sounds like somebody talking through a loudspeaker in my brain. Yes. Yes. Hargen. Help. Let's test it out. Hargen. Sorry, I keep doing it. I forget. I forget that there was a microphone right next to my lips, that every sound that comes out of it you're going to hear. And there's some unpleasant sounds that come out of my lips. Hey, sorry, I wasn't looking at chat. I apologize. I've not been looking at chat. If anyone's watching me, I apologize. Sorry, everyone. I've turned off the chat on the main feed because it's distracting, and this is all like really hard to do on my laptop. Just one screen here. I've got my iPad here next to me, but it's not very useful, to be honest. So just answer questions on the chat. Hi, which language do you think is better, Golang or TypeScript for creating backend and Telegram bots CLI? If you're doing lightweight stuff, TypeScript is perfectly fine. Hello, Tantai. TypeScript is absolutely fine. It runs very well, particularly in Bun or Node. It's great for lightweight stuff. It's great for, obviously, perfect for building, transpiling to JavaScript in the browser. If you can, use it wherever. I'm a huge fan of TypeScript for a couple of reasons. First, it gives you type safety, true type safety, in when you're building your applications, and at scale, it really matters. If you're doing some, crappy little hacky nonsense thing you're going to throw away, sure, who cares? You don't need types. You don't need TypeScript. In fact, TypeScript will just slow you down because you've got another layer in between running in the browser and being. Sorry, my boss just walked past here, looking curious. What are you doing? What are you doing in that meeting room? where was I? Yeah, talking about TypeScript. There's an extra layer of transpilation, build, and all that kind of stuff. But when you are building large things, it's really important. What is HARgen? Go to github.com/pb33f/har HARific, HARI. There should be a little thing at the bottom of the stream that shows you. HARgen is generating HAR files. It generates HTTP archive files. These are conversations between a client and a server. It's captured. That allows you to see exactly what has happened in a conversation. Now, what we've been doing is been trying to get one of our kind of binaries working here. Anyway, yes, use TypeScript is fine. If you want to do like heavyweight stuff or you need real power, and you need speed, performance, go is where you want. TypeScript is great, but it runs out of power very quickly, and you'll quickly learn. It's like, it's great. Oh no, we're out of power. And there's none left. There's nowhere left to go. So you start having to go down the stack and going into deeper level languages, and you start looking at, oh, we need Java. And then Java's like, wow, that needs a lot of memory. Oh, let's do it in Go, the sweet spot. And then Go might run out of power, which is very rare. I know, unless you're doing like super real-time systems, or you're building out sort of stock market or real-time monitoring systems for things like Formula One engines, Go is probably not your best choice. Anything that stops the world to do garbage collection and will interrupt real-time, not a good idea. If you're trying to get the exact temperature of an exhaust coming out of a valve, probably use C, C++ or Rust, not TypeScript. Hello everyone on the chat. Is Rolodex as efficient as this? No, Rolodex is completely different design. It's a complete different system for different architecture. Not efficient as this at all. Mainly, I don't know why I didn't make it this efficient. It could be. It just is. This is a lot of work just for the Rolodex. I don't. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just thinking wrong here. I don't know. It's not as efficient, though. The answer to your question is absolutely not. No, the Rolodex is 10 times slower than this because it's much more complicated in what it's doing, and the way that it operates is much more complicated. Nice. I love HAR. Yes, HAR files are very important. They're like the first line of defense when it comes to diagnosing what's going on in a production system. The customer or the client says, here's what happened, and they give you a file, and then you've got a massive file, and that's it. What do you do? Well, that's what this tool is going to help you with. And yeah, I did blow up on the mic. Yeah, that was the point, because it sounds like a absolute madhouse in here. There is so much noise going on. This is not what I'm doing. This is what I'm not doing. I want to go to Go code. I want to go to Go code. Braid code. Braid code. Where's my code? So I'm going to try and build this. If I just run make, oops, not in there. In here, make. Where did you put that make file? Where's the make file? Oh, you put it in the root. I didn't want that. It's not what I wanted. Nothing to be done. What are you talking about? Oh. HARgen. Well, you really went all out, didn't you? You really went all out. It built a really nice look. Look at this. Look at all these different targets we've automatically generated. Look. Look. Thanks, Claude. Thank you, Claude. That's very nice of you. I'm gonna have to jump over to another meeting in a second. I have to pause the stream. Well, I won't pause the stream. I won't be looking at it for a minute. But now I just want to run HARgen, make sure it's running. Bin HARgen. Hooray! And it generated as a file over there. Why did you do it over there? This is not what I wanted, but it doesn't matter. I'll just copy this. Let's copy this. HAR test. HAR. All right. And then we could do. Actually, I'm going to bring this back to my terminal 3 to actually see it running. Where are we? Braid. And then it's going to be test.har. No, unknown command. It's not Braid, is it? It's not Braid. We changed the name. We get rid of that. It's HARific. Test.har. Hooray! All right, we are operational, and the next challenge now is going to be to wire up the search and then render out these two request and response windows. We'll probably do that later though, because it's cosmetic versus functional. Still missing our window there. Anyway, we are good. I'm going to pause the stream now for a minute. I need to go to a meeting. I'm late. I'll be right back in about 10 minutes or so. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. It took a little longer than I was expecting. We were having a status meeting about this whole hackathon and talking about the judging and the prizes, and it's actually really interesting. We're doing some really interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff. If you're interested, I'll just give you a quick rundown. Bringing in well, more AI, but we're kind of scraping repos and Confluence pages and using that as our database, if you will. So what we didn't build is like a registration system and a team system and a group system and projects and videos and code and all the stuff we normally need for these types of events. And we didn't build that because, well, we don't know what we're doing, to be honest, and we're making up as we go along. So that's the honest truth. And we're actually finding it's pretty effective by using Claude to scrape and then build reports. We're getting good results. It's working. Artif is one of my colleagues. He's building all of this stuff out, and he's doing a great job, and he's actually making more value. And we were talking about some of the things we're going to be doing. I won't talk about it on the stream because there's some surprises I don't want to give away, but doing some cool visualizations with this data. Let's say, using some 3JS, some WebGL, and then just get Claude to go nuts, pretty fun actually, because building this stuff, manually is it's so much work. If you can just throw a prototype up at Claude and have it do it, it's great. Okay, folks. Let's get back to the jam. So where we were is beep, is we have HARGen working, we have HARific working, and now what we need to do is we actually need to wire up search. But before we do that, let's build the hook in the TUI. I need to get the right view up first. Let's bring up code. Now, while I'm at it, what I'm actually going to do here is just give me 1 sec. I'm going to set up a button. I've got a little stream deck over here that I can use to flip between buttons, and because I'm bringing all these windows together and I'm bringing all these things together, and I'm not sharing my screen straight up, I need to just do a tiny little bit of housekeeping on this, so I can say, great. What I'm trying to do is set up my hot switches so I can flip. And it's easy for me to flip between windows because I've only got one screen and they're all full screen, and the resolution is on this massive, thick, massive fonts. It looks like a play school version of a terminal right now because the resolution is so zoomed. So you can see what I'm doing. Normally I wouldn't work at resolutions like this. So I'm still trying to find my feet with all of this. While I'm just chatting away here, and what I'm trying to do is I want to get this, call it HARific. Okay. What you can't see is I'm actually configuring some of my settings for Stream Deck, which is this lovely little button. This little thing full of buttons down here, and it's got all these lovely things in here, and I'm trying to figure out how I can. This is driving me crazy, man. It's all not right. HARific main. Bear with me. I was trying to do this earlier, but I was having massive problems with my sound, like my headset wasn't working. I had to restart my machine. I lost all my windows, and la. Ooh la la. Ooh la la, what a mess. Okay, great. Now I can actually flip. I got my button here to the right code. Great. Okay, bringing this back up. We'll zoom in on the code in a sec. Bring that down because that's not too interesting. Well, this is where we were as we were doing the test HAR. And what I'd like to do is I want to bring up an overlay. So actually now go back to the terminal so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Right, let's go back to terminal 1. Is it terminal 1? No, it is terminal 2. Terminal 2. No, it's not. It's bloody terminal 3. 3 terminals. That's right. I'm going to get my terminals right. Let's rerun that. So what I want to do is, while we're in the, there's obviously going to be a lot more files in here. We'll generate a bigger one in a minute, but we don't need it for right now. This is all we need for the time being. Is when I'm in here, what I want to do is hit S. I want to hit S, and then what I want is an overlay to pop. Actually, no, I want the same thing. I want the split view, but I want it smaller. I don't want 2 panels. I want 1 panel. And then I want a search text box. And then we need to figure out what we're going to do about tick boxes to enable those booleans. So that's what we want, is we want a new mode in the TUI. Then we press S. Instead of bringing up this split panel, it's going to bring up a thinner individual panel with the search input, text input, and I'm going to have some kind of a switch for turning on or turning off regex, and another switch for returning first result only and skipping the rest if we find something, and then another switch for including the response body in the search. So if you're looking to find something in the actual body, like something in the JSON or the response, we'll search that. Otherwise, we're just going to search the metadata and keep it really fast. So there's 3 switches in there. So we need 3 switches, text input, half panel. That's the next goal. And then we're going to wire it up. Well, that's the theory. Anyway, so let's go back to our code and we don't need to look in. We don't need to look in HARGen anymore. What I want to do is come into the TUI, into our main view, and you see we've got this render split view. We're going to need to have like render search view, and it's going to do the same thing. We've got the status bar, the split panel, and the colorized hard table output, just like we have up here. So we've got render table view, render split view, and then render search view. It's going to have the same thing, but so that's the first step. So what do we need to do? We need to bring up our old buddy, Claudio. Gotta get the right terminal. Make file. This where we're doing our HARific files. Okay, Claude, that's all working great. Looking good. Thank you very much. Now I want to move on to the terminal. So we're going to start modifying the terminal and adding some small changes in there and wiring up our search engine. Before we can wire up the search engine, we need to have a way to hook into the search engine. So that's what we're going to look at first. Before we do anything, can you go and read all the code in the TUI package, module, whatever, and let me know when you're ready to move on. All right, so we're going to have Claude go and refill up the context with the TUI code. So it's got that in there now. We could probably clear and get rid of all the HARific stuff. Oh, it's too late now. Too late, we're loading the context up. We'll just let it go. There is a I have a weekly staff meeting that lasts like 45 minutes. And like I said earlier on the stream, today's going to be a bit more challenging because there's a few breaks in the day where I've got things I need to do. I need to talk to people. I need to meet with people. This is kind of a typical work day where, you're trying to work and it's like, everyone stop. Our meeting. And you get back into it and start coding. And everyone stop again. We got another meeting. This is why I do all my coding before the day starts, because it's just impossible to keep a flow going when you're like, stop, go, stop, go, stop. So what I do is when we're going through this, I'll actually stop the stream. I'll restart it when the meetings are over, just so you're not sat there and there's not like an hour of dead air, on the stream, like, it was 20 minutes a minute ago, and that's bad enough, really, to be honest. I don't want to keep doing that. So for anyone who's watching the stream later and catching up, I'll break it into multiple parts. Like I did yesterday, it was broken into 2 parts. We'll probably break it into 3 parts this time. Sorry, it's the best I got though. Taras says, I realized you're off the last stream. I think you've seen the code, but I haven't. I realized what was off in your last stream. I think you've seen the code, but I haven't. Twitch. I'm on Twitch in chat. Hello, Taras. How are you? Sorry, I'm just reading all your chat messages there. I'm not sure what you mean by the last stream, but what was off, but we're kind of bringing it all together now. Today is like the crunch. Tomorrow we're going to refine, build some docs and build a little video. And hopefully we should be done. Now, it depends on how much progress we make today. I do have a lot of breaks, unfortunately. So we might not be able to keep up the same pace as we've had. So I've just asked Claude to go ahead and bring its understanding of the TUI package. Now, this is what we need to do. We need to add to this. So in our view, in our rendering pipeline, view.go. All right, split view. I'm just going to copy that. So I've got it. Okay, Claude. So now you've seen this. And what we're going to do is I want to add another version of this, but it's not a split view that has the request and response. It doesn't need to be a split view. It's basically just a search view. So what I want is when I press S, I want the letter S to be the key that opens this up. It's going to be not as tall as we currently have. So I think the render split view is like a 60/40. Bring it down a little bit more. Bring it down to about 30%. And at the top of that box, I want to have a search input. So we're basically going to be taking text input. So if you press S and then start typing, text will start appearing in that text area, and it'll say search above it as a label. We're going to add some more controls into the box in a little while, but let's get that first piece going. So the TUI, you press S, up comes the search box. You can start typing, and you'll see that in there. It won't do anything for right now. We'll just get that working. And then if you press escape, it'll close the search box and take you back to the table view. Does that make sense? And do you have any follow-up questions for me? Let's take a look. Let's see what Claude says whilst we're waiting. What do you say, Claude? What do you say? What do you say? Oh, it's my weekly staff meeting is in 12 minutes. Oh, no. Oh, no, people. Oh, no. That means we've got 12 minutes left. 12 minutes left until I've got to break the stream. Oh, no. Right, well, let's see if we can get this first part done. At least will give us some progress. I understand what you want. Let me clarify a couple of things before I start. Search box placement. The search box should be at the bottom, below the table, taking up 30% of the vertical space. The table compressed 70%. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Number one, yes. What does it say for number two? Text input behavior. When you press S, should the search box open and immediately start capturing keystrokes? No. Yeah. Number two, yes, immediately start capturing keystrokes. Number three, the search box visual should have a border like the split view with a blue border or something simpler. Number three, it needs a border. Make it pink, though. Make it the pink. Not the blue, the pink. So we've got a different color. Make sure you use the constants. Don't go inventing a pink color now. Number four, status bar, different help text. Yes, we will need a different status bar, but I don't have the controls I want to add in there yet. So leave it just saying search controls for now, and I'll add those in later as we progress through making the UI a little bit more interactive. Yeah, you're right, Taras. Yeah, I'm not going to keep the stream going while I'm on a meeting, because it's, if I'm recording this and it's going on YouTube, and obviously I've got an offline recording going as well, but when I do go to make videos and stuff, if it's just like an hour of the whole screen, no, please wait. It's like, ugh, it's kind of, forget about it. And I know then you kind of like don't know when the next stream starts and all that kind of stuff. So it's not a great solution, but it's what I got. I'm just not going to keep it going. I'm going to have to leave my stuff here and go to a different room. So we'll just we're just gonna have to cope. Number 4, number 5, table navigation. When the search box is open, should the arrow key still navigate the table, or should we disable table navigation, only allowing typing in the search box? Ooh. Let's just keep the search box focused. If we've got the search box up, that has all the focus, the table navigation isn't going to work. Maybe we can add it in later if we need to, but for right now, let's just keep it as a pseudo modal. Yes, please build it and run the performance code reviewer no, another dash. Agent as well, to make sure we clean up as we go. All right, let's go. Let's build the new view. But I don't we don't need any overlays in this application, because we will do, yeah, when we're doing it a zoom view on the question response, for example, on the body. If the body is a large JSON blob, I would want to see that with as much real estate as possible. I don't want to have it in that little box down there and trying to see a bunch of JSON. If I'm trying to review a body, I want it blown up. I want the majority of the view taken up with that rendered JSON. I can scroll up and down, I can hit escape, and then it will just come back to the current view. That'll be what we do once we've done some work on rendering the request and response, and we have that's kind of finishing things off, really. That's the kind of polish at the top of the application, and we'll do some more tuning. But what I want to do now is get the search UX rendered and have it actually search with some switches. But I'm going to run out of time before my meeting to do that, but hopefully we can actually see it spit some stuff out. Update the key handling for S, so that's going to add that to the command list. One thing we need to do is when we do code cleanup and tuning at the end of the build, is to replace all of those switch cases that they're currently strings. They need to get the constants. Just because it's messy. I'm always a fan of switch statements with constants rather than strings. I hate seeing strings in switch statements, and I'm guilty of it. I know I've said this before. I'm guilty of it, but I just still hate it. I think it's messy as hell. I think after my meeting, my team, we have a staff meeting with all the people, all the people. I'm going to get another coffee because I'm running low. I think, the coffee in the building in Cisco is, it's Splunk. It's Splunk's old building, but now everything's got a Cisco label on it. It's the same as it was, but no, it's actually not. They've changed it quite a bit, but they haven't changed the layout. It's more corporate-y now, I guess. Anyway, coffee here is horrible. It's horrible. And every time I go to the coffee machine, I'm like, I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't do that. I wish I just had nothing. But there is a Pete's Coffee and Tea over the road, and they do really good coffee in there. All right, I say really good coffee. It's better than the coffee in the building. It's not as good as the coffee as I make at home, though. I'm going to try and find where the meeting is. It's in Crystal Bay. We have a meeting called Crystal Bay, meeting room Crystal Bay. All the meeting rooms on this floor are named after locations. Like we've got Fallen Leaf, Sunnyside. Where am I? I'm in Homewood right now, and the Crystal Bay is over there. Not that over there means anything to the video or the stream. You don't even know what I'm pointing at. I could be pointing at a big cake. I'm not, but I could be. I'm actually pointing at a wall. Whilst we're waiting for Claude, maybe we should start singing a song. You know what we could do while we're waiting for this is we could go and start looking. Oh, I've got to go. I'm gonna have to go. My meeting's starting. It's next door. Okay, folks. I'm going to pause the stream here. I'm going to stop the stream, and then I'll come back online. It'll just pop back up on Twitch in about 50 minutes. And same with YouTube. So if you are following along, sorry I have to do this. I apologize, but I'm not going to leave this running while I'm out of the room, and someone could come in and start doing all kinds of inappropriate things. So the stream's going to be off for about 50 minutes, and then it'll be back. And we should have the terminal UI with the search input working. It might look like crap, but it'll be working. We can then move forward.